Hello, and welcome to this wrap-up of our workshop at Mode Royale last week about being on style. Mode Royale is a beautiful store full of unique haute couture. And when I was in there, I was inspired about this workshop, being so clear about the distinction between being on style and in style. So because we haven't been together for a week or 10 days, I just want to set a little context for us as we start the wrap-up today. We had to leave a little bit prematurely. Some of our wrap-up got cut off, and really the value in the workshop we did has so much to do with pulling all those pieces together that we spoke about when we were in the space. So what is on style? Those of you who know me know that I'm not a big fashionista, although I would say that I do have a style, and oftentimes I'm a little uncomfortable with it. So part of my mission in bringing this to you is that as a coach and a leadership consultant, I work with many types of people at many levels to discover what their leadership style is. The mistake people make is in thinking that leadership is something you do. That there is a way to do it, a correct way and an incorrect way. And that if you're not being an effective leader, somehow you're doing it wrong. There also tends to be some pressure in this culture to do it in a particular way. And we're going to talk a little bit about that just as we do the wrap up. Let me mention in personal life, I think we face some of the same situation. We're often thinking about how we should be. This is a big culture for self-improvement. And don't get me wrong, I'm all for personal growth. That's my business as a leadership expert, as a personal developer, as an executive coach. My interest is in helping people to grow. But I want to make the distinction between self-improvement and personal growth and development. Self-improvement's going to infer that something's wrong with us. There are things we don't know how to be that we need to learn how to be. Oftentimes when we're looking for promotions or that great job, or even in our personal lives, that perfect relationship, that perfect someone else, we are thinking that there is something we need to be that we are not. And I'll tell you what that fosters: a sense of not being enough, a sense of not having what it takes, oftentimes some level of anxiety of not being what's needed to fit the role. So I thought in our wrap-up, we would take a look at some of what we spoke about when we were at Mode Royale, and we just digest this. That's a little bit of context. As you know, we're using a Luminous Spark model kind of at its top level to discover things about personal qualities and to take a personal read, like a self-read on where our qualities sit most vividly. And let me just mention one thing. I think we live in sort of a triangular culture. And here's what I mean by that. We define ourselves and sit in a context of three key worlds that we're brought up in and we be in. One of them is our family, the context in which we grew up, the rules, the values, how we were interpreted, the roles we played, the roles we were given are very formative to us. That leaves an imprint on us that lasts the rest of our lives and oftentimes carries on through generations. So it's very pivotal to who we are. There's society and our culture influences. Here in America, we live very much in sort of a judgmental, gotta be good enough, do more to get more society. There are certain ways of being successful. Success can mean a certain thing in this society. In fact, there's pressure in this society, given our heritage, our history, and our wonderful backdrop of being able to be anything we want to be. There's pressure to do it, to be the top, to be the best, and to do it right. But here's the other piece of it. the context in which we're living culturally, it's about self-improvement. You know, it's about that doing more to get more. There's a work ethic here that's at some point made our nation great, but pushes us over the edge sometimes, oftentimes. The third place that is pivotal to us. Oh, let me add. I think in that culture fits our jobs. I don't know if I said that. Our careers and our jobs fit very much into that cultural context in which we live. Then there is self. And by self, I don't necessarily mean self-image. I mean that self that is at the essence of who we come in this world to be. I want to read you a quote. It's a quote by Deepak Chopra. Hang on. This meant a lot to me, and I think I shared it with you when we left the workshop. People have problems with self-esteem because they've lost identity with their true selves. They identify with their self-image instead. Your self-image is what other people think of you. The self is what you think of you. The real self within you is beneath no one. This is true for everyone. It is immune to criticism, and it is fearless.